Alright, Seesaw here with another video. No chapter last week, so within the One Piece community, I've watched a lot of YouTube, and it seems to be pick your favorite Yonko week. You know, pick your favorite Yonko, whoever that may be, Blackbeard or Big Mom or whoever, and talk about them. Well, I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to talk about today is Wano in general. Now, it's no secret that since Dragon Ball Super ended, a lot of people from Toei Animation that came from Dragon Ball Super came over to One Piece, and that's the reason why the animation quality has risen. It's because they have the extra manpower. Now, some of the things in the Wano anime have been superb as far as the transitions, the way it looks, the smoothness of it, the colorful palette of it. Yeah, it looks beautiful. But the story seems to evolve, and it's changed. And Oda has broken away from his formula that he always has through every arc. You ever notice, like, okay, Luffy fights the biggest bad, Zoro fights the second biggest bad, Sanji fights the third, and so forth throughout the Straw Hats? Well, that's changed. And I don't know why. I guess because he made Kaido so strong, or he has so many different characters in Wano, like the Minks, Marco the Phoenix, and all these other characters, and he has to give them some type of fight, you know, something, as powerful as they are. But then again, it's like it kind of takes away from the Straw Hats. Another thing too, I think they should have just left Big Mom out of Wano altogether. They could avoid all the amnesia bullshit. Just to be frank with you, that was stupid. And the latest chapter about the motherly thing, why she didn't protect Momo. You know, she's just choosy and picky about who she's motherly to. And I don't care if your child is 3-year-old or a 30-year-old, it's still your child. So I don't get that at all. And he made Kaido so strong, and he had Zoro. Zoro shouldn't be there in that fight. Kid, Killer, all of them, they should not be there in that fight. If you get rid of Big Mom, there's no need for Kid and Killer to be there. There's no need for Zoro to be there. Let me tell you how it should have went down. They should have done it like the Katakuri fight. I know Luffy has, you know, his limitations. You know, his time limit on his haki. Pick and choose what time. When is this time going to run out? You know, is this 3 days in the anime, or is this 30 days in the anime? Time is relative in anime. So, in the story in general. Like, if you think about it, it was Tama's birthday. And her birthday has been announced in the SBS as in March. Well, it's only been a couple of, maybe a week or two since her birthday in the story. So technically we're still in March in the story. And so time is relative in the story. You can make, it could be 1 or 2 chapters in 2 years have passed, or it could be, you know, 30 minutes have passed. It's all ambiguous of what the time is in the story. So you could have done away with all that. Anyway, what they should have done with the Yonko fight between Luffy and Kaido is do like you did with the Charlotte Katakuri fight. Let me explain to you. Okay, when Luffy ran out of haki and whatnot, what did he do in the Katakuri fight? What did he do? He grabbed Brule and went through a mirror. Now, he paused for a second and let his haki rebuild or regenerate. He could have done the same thing with the Kaido. Have Law. Law's been teleporting people. He's teleported people all over the darn castle. Okay? He can make his bubble that big or his room that big. Just have him do that. That's all you needed to do. Is have Law and Luffy up there fighting them. Fighting Kaido. And then when Luffy's haki runs out, just have Law teleport him, boom, and let him sit down there until his haki rebuilds or regenerates. All right, and you gotten around that. And then, he finally, catches on to what Kaido does with his haki, with Conqueror's haki, just like he did in the regular story. And you got it. All right. You don't need Killer. You don't need Law. I mean, you need Law, but you don't need Killer. You don't need Kid. You don't need Zoro up there. What should have happened is when Sanji got hit by King, okay? And King was telling him, or Sanji was telling him about how he was going to be cut in half. That's when Zoro should have stepped in and be like, nobody cuts that crappy cook in half but me. Okay, I'm going to be the one to cut that crappy cook in half. And then he steps in, he fights King. That's what should have happened. And that would have been true to the character. That would have been true to the demographic of the story. I don't know. I think what it is that Oda's trying to get to the end of the story, and he's off-screening a lot of fights and whatnot. He is not showing a lot of stuff, and he's skipping a lot of stuff, and it's hurting the story. It used to be for a while that the manga was superior than the anime, especially in De La Rosa. Don't get me started with the 6 minutes of Pika walking through a city in the anime. That's garbage. That was garbage in the anime. That's when I stopped watching the anime as much. Like, I used to only watch the anime. Then I stopped watching the anime and I started only reading the manga when that happened. But I think they should have left Big Mom out of it for the most part in Wano. Done the same thing they did in Thriller Park. Got through fighting one Yonko. Yeah! Oh shit, there's another Yonko. Just like they did with the Warlord. They got through fighting the zombie guy, Moria. Oh shit, there's Kuma. That's what they should have done. Why can't they not done that? But no, you got Big Mom coming in to Wano. Now, this is what I don't get now. If you go back in the story, this is the reason why the four Yonko did not fight one another. This does not make any sense. This is the reason why the four Yonko did not fight one another. It's because if it would be a high diff fight, okay? So even if one won over the other, they would suffer so much loss that another Yonko would be able to defeat them very easily. Because it would have been such a high diff fight, because they're so equally in the same spirit of one another as far as power and resources and everything. So tell me, why is it different to have Big Mom come into Kaido's territory now after suffering the loss of two commanders? Okay? She lost Katakuri and she lost Cracker. And she's lost another commander before that. Inaru, or what's his name? Rouge beat one of them before that, beat Snacks. So she's lost 3 commanders. She is weakened right now. Why in the world is she going into Kaido's home territory now? She's never done it before. None of the Yonko never fought one another before. That's what was explained. So why is she doing it now? That doesn't make any sense. She should not be there. Also, talking about suffering too many losses, isn't that the reason why Whitebeard didn't invade Wano as well, going after Kaido? At all. Okay? I understand she's pissed off at Luffy. But if Luffy dies fighting Kaido, what's the big deal? Okay? She has to be the one to kill Luffy? I mean, I don't understand that. She should let him duke it out, and then whoever's standing at the end, all battered and bloodied, come in and wipe him out then. That's what should happen. But no, she's going into Wano. It doesn't make any sense to me. That's how I feel about it. The Wano, like I said, it looks good, but the story is lacking. There's flaws in the story, and I don't know how Oda's going to pull it out. I think looking back on it, it's going to be one of the worser arcs, I think, as far as story-wise. Because there are moments in One Piece that are far superior as far as story-wise than this. I mean, the fighting's cool and it looks cool, but the same thing happened with Dragon Ball Super. Like, it looked cool, yeah. Ultra Instinct Goku, yeah, he looks cool, but where are you going with this as far as story-wise? They lack in the narrative. The narrative is suffering right now. And it's not up to par with what I know it can be. I love One Piece, and the reason why I've loved it over other manga or other anime is because of its consistency. Okay? There's a lot of things in a lot of other anime that just aren't consistent, and they get to a point where they just like, I don't know what to do next. Like, okay, like, who's the next big? I don't know. They run out of gas, and I'm starting to see that with One Piece now. And I hope the guy that don't botch the ending. I think at the end of One Piece, you're gonna have people burning their crap in the street, burning the One Piece stuff in the street. I hope they don't, but I got a feeling they're gonna botch the ending. It's gonna be just like Naruto, where at the end he's this chosen one, he's this, crap like that, instead of this guy who worked hard and persevered. He's this chosen one, he's reincarnated of kind of God or some bullshit. I hope they don't go that route. I hope they don't, but I can kind of see it, Luffy being the reincarnated of Joy Boy or whatever. I see it, but I don't like it. Hope they don't go that route. Hope they stay away from that. Hope they learn the lessons from Naruto. And also, too, Wano, I know it's based off Japan, but there's a lot of recycled stuff that we done seen before in other animes. The Orochimaru stuff, the Tensaiga blades. What else? I mean, I can't... There's so much crap that's recycled. I wish the Japanese would come up with an authentic story. That's the stories that I like. Like, that's the reason why Attack on Titan. That's the reason why it exploded the way it did. And it was outselling One Piece. Because it was so original. It got away from all those Japanese tropes. And it killed people. Okay? If you go back and look in the origins of anime, you're going to see, Astro Boy. You're going to see, the Gundams, the original Gundam. People died in those movies, in those animes. People walked into buildings and the buildings exploded. That person was dead. They understood those tropes. Why? It's because the Japanese just came out of World War II. Their fathers, their uncles, their brothers went off to war and they didn't come back. They understood this topic. They understood that people went to war and they didn't come back. They didn't get reanimated. They didn't get wished back. They didn't come back. They were gone. They understood this philosophy. And Japan hasn't been in a war since then. You're looking at a generation that does not know war at all. Doesn't even know conflict that much. I mean, they do martial arts. For a long time, it was outlawed in their country to even do martial arts. They got around that by putting that O on the end of it. Like Taekwondo, Keto, there's a whole bunch of other ones. But they put that O on there to get around it not being a martial art, so you can get around that law and still practice it. But even then, they're just sparring, okay? They're just sparring. They got on pads and stuff, and they're just sparring. They're not really full combat. Okay, so even then, they kind of get away from it. They don't know conflict that well. And it's a very peaceful nation, a very polite nation. They don't argue with one another. They rather not. They rather suck it in and, and let it eat them up inside instead of letting it out. They're scared of conflict. It doesn't show good face in their culture. And so they're writing about stories that have conflict. and they're kind of detached from it. They don't understand it. I think it's kind of weird sometimes when you see like anime with guns and stuff, and there's no guns in Japan. There's been more accidents and more people going on rampages with swords and knives and stuff than guns. And it's like you see things and they think that it's because it says it has some type of magical encryption on this pistol or whatever, it makes it shoot better. Like, no, that's not how guns work. I'm sorry to tell you that. I don't know. I know it's animes. It's a cartoon when it comes down to it. But the realism needs to be there. When you start talking about, how people feel and the will of this and people's wishes and will, some people just, I don't know. And then you start talking about anime with, the power of friendship and all this other cheesy stuff. You overcome them with the power of friendship, not because we can outthink the enemy or be better equipped or better trained than the enemy. It's, the power of friendship, or, we just want it more than you. That's the reason why we win. Like, no, that's not how things work, Even good people get killed. I've seen it. It's just a fact of life. But that's enough for me. That's my little rant today. If you like, leave a comment, subscribe, share. Get the word out there. Get the gospel out there. The salt. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, enough out of that. Peace.